Everyone, this is Mandi Lockley here for the Astrological Association. Hello there. If you'd seen my post a couple of days ago, you'll know I'm going to be talking about fabulous Jupiter in Leo, and the theme is reasons to be cheerful, because I thought we really need to have a little bit of cheerfulness right now. So reasons to be cheerful, Jupiter in Leo. So we'll talk through Jupiter in Leo and a few other things. Before I start, I just want to let you guys know that we still have some really cool discounts for the Astrological Association, which is a conference, which is 17th to the 20th of September in Nottingham. We've got discounts at all levels, whether you're not in the UK or can't get to Nottingham. You can have an online conference, or there are also discounts on all the different residential options depending on how long you want to stay. Fabulous venue. We went to the venue for the first time last year and everyone loved it, so we're going back. So advert over, please do join us. As I say, 30th of June is the deadline. It's the end of the discounts, so if you're thinking of coming, snap that up while you can. Fabulous. So yeah, what about this then? What about Jupiter in Leo? So we have Jupiter in Leo. It's nearly there. It's going to be in Leo on the 30th of June. This is the 25th, so in 5 days' time we've got Jupiter in fabulous Leo. And it's going to be there for just over a year, so it's 26th of July. Next year it goes out of Leo. It's just over a year. There's no retrograde, so it's not an extended pass through the sign of Leo. So we've got the planet of growth, the planet of optimism, the planet that expands everything that it touches, the planet of faith in the sign of Leo the lion. Now, if it looks like I am standing in a breeze here, we're having a heat wave in the UK and across much parts of Europe, so it's about 30 degrees plus even indoors at the moment. So I've got a fan right next to me, so you might be able to hear the fan and this kind of windswept thing going on with my hair. So it's quite appropriate that Leo obviously rules the sun, and the sun is very bright and very obvious and very hot at the moment. But what can we say about Jupiter in Leo? The reasons to be cheerful, really, with Jupiter in Leo, it's that benevolence, it's the generosity. Oh, Leo is really famous for that magnanimous energy. It's fun-loving. Also likes to be in the spotlight and centre stage, and great sense of humour. We think of Jupiter as being the jolly giant, don't we, in a sense? And Leo's I've got a great sense of humour at best. The Leo energy has a great sense of humour. Sometimes it's not so good at laughing at its flair and showmanship. So all of that, I'm just aware here, talking about Jupiter and Leo. As I said, my hair, my red leonine hair, even though I'm not Leo, apart from the I see in Leo, it's just a bit like Leo, isn't it? This red hair sort of blowing in the wind. Anyway, blowing from the fan because of all the heat. For those of you who have just joined us, this isn't a special effect. It's just me trying to keep cool. So it's about excess, isn't it? We've got excess heat at the moment. Jupiter is about excess. So we'll have an excess of all these wonderful, beautiful, generous, benevolent, magnanimous Leo qualities. So that's reason to be cheerful. I think there's room for a little bit more enthusiasm, childlike joy as well. I think we could all do a little bit more of that childlike joy. There's a lot going on at the moment. There's a lot to feel sad about, to be worried about, to be scared about at the moment, with all sorts of things going on in the world. So a little bit of childlike joy and enthusiasm, playtime. As I'm looking out through the window to the gardens, I can see there's a paddling pool for the children next door, a shallow paddling pool for the children next door to help them with the heat and all that kind of thing. Now, on the flip side, of course, Leo can be very dramatic. It can be childish as well. Childish and dramatic, maybe a little bit, but what I'm talking about here, that reason to be cheerful, is to sort of really tap into that childlike enthusiasm of Jupiter and Leo. It can be quite stylish as well, Leo, as well. It likes to be seen. And depending on where it falls in your chart, we can look at the most basic level. We can look at the house with Leo, with the house that is ruled by Leo or co-ruled by Leo, depending on what house system you use. So for me, it's the IC in Leo. So for me, it's the 4th house. So for me, it's, well, perhaps I'm a drama queen at home. You'd have to ask my husband, who himself is actually a Leo. When I was sort of preparing for what I was going to say, the word drama queen came up. And I thought, that's interesting. We usually only use that sort of the feminine gender of drama queen. So I'm going to say drama king as well. So it doesn't sound as if we're saying that it's just women can create the drama. So we don't want to be putting that out there. But drama can be fun, drama can be performative, drama can be fantastic to watch, but then there's the flip side of drama as well, which if we're looking at the less positive sides of Leo, creating drama just to get attention. So while we're on that, I want this to be mainly positive, but while we're on that, Jupiter exaggerates everything, doesn't it? So with that, hubris, maybe, ego, vanity, and pride as well. It can be over proud. Leo can be over proud. As we know, pride is is known as one of the 7 deadly sins, isn't it? But we can also have pride in ourselves, pride in our own achievements, pride in doing better, even if we don't do something, whether it's a creative thing, whether it's the way we comport ourselves, the way we behave, the way we communicate, the way we relate to other people, that we can be proud that we have made someone smile, made someone happy, improved and done something a little bit better. We've grown in maturity without losing that childlike joy and enthusiasm for life. It's about really following our passions. Another one is sort of arrogance and egoism. I've already mentioned egoism, but arrogance as well. That can be a little bit of arrogance. Often with the Leo energy, when there's an arrogance involved, it's often a bit of a defence mechanism as well, isn't it? Sort of wanting to sort of put up a sort of a good show, a good front. But when you really get into Jupiter in Leo in its most beautiful form, it's really about creativity. It's about creative expression, and I think that's one thing we can all do depending on what house Leo falls in, this Jupiter in Leo falls in. And also if we have planets in Leo in our chart, or angles, or anything, anything in the, we'll have that challenging call to action if we have anything in the fixed signs, because remember it's going to be a year, isn't it, with Jupiter in Leo, so anything in fixed signs in your charts is going to receive a challenging but really invitational aspect to your chart, which invites your squares and oppositions. They invite you to connect, they invite you to do something, to work on something. It's also about confidence, isn't it? Confidence and self-esteem as well. We see Leo as confident. We see Leo as the performer, as I've already said, that on-stage Leo. But we also need to remember that many Leos, not all Leos, but many Leos that I've met and know, and some I've known very, very well, they need time off stage as well. So with Jupiter, all this Leo energy, this being on show all the time, this fantastic creative energy, things can get a little bit at times overwhelming. So that time to sort of get off stage as well and have a little time to yourself, a little bit of peace. And here's interesting as well, talking a couple of political things I'll mention. Trump, of course, Donald Trump has got his ascendant and Mars very late in Leo, so towards the end of this Jupiter in Leo transit, he will have Jupiter on his ascendant and on his Mars, so that will be interesting. So that will be next year, towards sort of summer next year, so that's one to watch. He's also has his Pluto, he's the generation with Pluto in Leo, that'll be 10 degrees, so that'll be a little bit earlier, that'll be this year. He will have Jupiter on his Pluto, so that'll be really interesting to watch as well. And then there's an interesting thing that's happening in British politics at the moment. For those of you who follow British politics, you'll know what this is all about. If you don't, I'll explain very briefly. The current the Labour Party Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has resigned to pressure because people have been saying he's not up to the job, he hasn't done what he's promised, things aren't going very well as people were hoping when they voted him in, with a landslide actually. And he has now been challenged by another politician. What's interesting is this politician, his name is Andy Burnham. He was a politician. He was a member of Parliament in the British Parliament in Westminster. He tried 2 times to be the leader of the party and failed both times. So he went back to the northwest of England, where he was from, and became mayor of there, a very senior regional political appointment, and was very successful, to the point where people dubbed him King of the North. Now, isn't that interesting? King of the North. We think about that king energy with Jupiter, particularly with Jupiter in Leo, because another thing as well about Jupiter and Jupiter in Leo is the idea of authority, isn't it? It's a different kind of authority to the authority that we get with Saturn, of course. Saturn brings us authority and status that comes often from our place in the hierarchy, and what we do to earn that status and that authority. Sometimes it takes a long time. So it's interesting to see that while Burnham doesn't have anything in Leo in his chart, and we don't have a birth time, so we can't say what the angles might be, so there might be something to do with that potentially, but he's got the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus all in Capricorn, all ruled of course by Saturn. So that's a different kind of authority. I've already said something about Saturn authority. Saturn's process, that Capricorn process, is the long apprenticeship. You're not going to be throned, you're not going to be on whatever throne it is, of course, straight away, until you really earned it, where sometimes Jupiter will give you that great stuff, give you that whatever that metaphorical throne is, before you're even ready, but you've got the confidence and the hubris to think, well, I can do this, I'm born for this. He's had to work very hard. Finally he's going to pretty much now be the next Prime Minister. It's not a done deal yet, there's a process to go through, but no one at the moment is contesting it. The current Prime Minister has resigned to get ready for the King of the North, and that's been in the last few days. And obviously Jupiter isn't going into Leo until the 30th for 5 days, but you often find with these slower planets that we start to see the themes in mundane astrology, and in the lives of leaders. These themes start to come through beforehand, before the actual ingress, because of course it's process, isn't it? We haven't got Jupiter in Cancer and suddenly everything will change and Jupiter will go into Leo. There's always that kind of process there, isn't there? And if you were looking at Jupiter still in Cancer, you think, well, maybe Andy Burnham is coming home to Westminster. I know the northwest of England is his home, but down in London, like coming home to where he was. So there's that thing about leadership as well, isn't it? Leadership with Jupiter in Leo, and a change. We're going to see a change in leadership. And Scorpio rising 123 comment, he's also pure Labour Friends of Israel, has gone to Israel and has said his first foreign trip will be to go to Israel. He's another monster in government. Thank you for that comment. Yeah, I'm not making any value judgments here or saying I like this politics or that politics, just giving you the facts. But yes, thank you for that. It's such a tricky subject, isn't it? Such a difficult subject. But going back to Jupiter in Leo, enough about the politics. What about us? What about us? How can we use this energy wherever it falls in our chart? How can we use this energy in positive ways? Reasons to be cheerful. Well, there's an opportunity wherever it falls in our chart to improve and grow through creativity and creative expression, whatever that is. I think sometimes we're in danger of thinking very narrowly about what creativity is, but it's every day we create something. Even if we make ourselves a sandwich, we're creating something. Make yourself a big sandwich, a creative sandwich, put something different in it, make it big, and or whatever. But however we can express ourselves creatively, we've got that opportunity now, and that exuberant vitality and putting passion into it. Another wonderful way to use it, of course, that generosity, that superb generosity of Leo, and Jupiter is also a generous planet as well. So where can we support ourselves, but also support and encourage others? Support and encourage and mentor others, for those who might need it. That kind of thing can change lives, particularly when it comes to young people as well. And we kind of think of young people, don't we, when we think of Leo as well. So where can we support and encourage others, whether it's our children, because that's another theme for Leo, young people, or anybody who might need our help, or just a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of, help them to find faith in themselves, but also for us to find faith in ourselves and in our life. Hello, Rod from the AA, he's here as well. Rod, hi Rod, nice to see you here, and nice to see everybody else, of course, a few people whose names I recognise. So confident leadership, I think that's what we need to see as well, confident leadership, but that's got some substance to it as well. We can count our blessings with Jupiter in Leo, I believe. And don't forget the performance thing as well. Talking about creativity, Leo is also associated with film and drama and theatre and in the spotlight and fame and all those types of things. As well, we can't forget religious faith as well when we talk about Jupiter. It's good actually talking about the leadership as well. Jupiter in Leo is great for political positions, however minor. We're not talking about not necessarily talking about presidents and prime ministers. Things like school governors, people who sort of can influence as well, who can kind of take the lead, people who are chairpersons sitting on board and in board meetings as well. Having the courage of our convictions as well. There's something about being authentic, because Jupiter can be a little bit over the top, it can be a little bit gift of the gab, it can be a little bit, it'll say and do what needs to be done, and because there's a morality side of things for Jupiter as well, and sometimes those morality lines can be crossed in the wrong direction, in the direction that's not so ethical. So again, having the courage of your convictions, knowing what your values and your convictions are, and speaking from the heart. I think this is what it's all about. The heart, of course, Leo, the heart of the chart is our sun. So we can look actually to the sun in our birth chart as well, which rules Leo. So we can have a look at the sun in our chart and what's that doing in our chart to give us more clues as well. Now, I also want to briefly mention that, as you know, from the 20th of June, Chiron went into Taurus, and on the 2nd of July, Chiron in Taurus is going to be square that Jupiter in Leo. So really it's applying into that square already, even though Jupiter isn't quite there in Leo yet. And then we can go a few days, maybe even up to a week after the 2nd of July to have the influence of this square. There's only going to be one square of Jupiter and Chiron, because Jupiter's not going to be going retrograde. I'm just going to take a quick drink because it's very hot. Thank you. So when we're talking about Chiron in Taurus, we're talking about, amongst many other things, and I won't go into all of it, and if you want to look back, Rod did a fantastic Insta Live about a week or so ago about Chiron in Taurus, so you'll be able to go back and look at that. He's brilliant on Taurus, and he's brilliant on anything actually. Don't tell him I said that. But anyway, one of the things that Chiron in Taurus is about, it's about wounds around our self-worth. Venus, Chiron in Taurus, obviously ruled by Venus, heals the opportunity or the call to try and heal things around our self-worth. And this might come up particularly with this Jupiter in Leo square Chiron in Taurus, sort of just really coming up now and going to be with us soon. So these might be a few little things that come up. Might think about what kind of triggers us. Where do we feel not enough? Because Jupiter in Leo at best is about being more than enough. How can we help ourselves to become, or to feel, to really believe the truth of that we are enough and that we are more than enough either? So it might be about doing a little bit of thinking around that, thinking about when you tell yourself a story that, oh, I'm not good enough because, I don't know, I'm not good enough because, let's take the creative theme because it's a bit easy. I'm not good enough because I painted a picture and I thought it was a little bit rubbish and everyone else's picture was better than mine and someone laughed at my painting, and you know, that kind of thing. So that takes you back to talking about that childlike energy of Leo. Oh, I remember, I'm a grown adult now and I've decided to go to an art class. It's brought back all these feelings of when I was in art at school and my teacher said my art was rubbish or whatever. So what we're talking about here is when you have these, whatever it's about that's where you feel less worthy, it's about really thinking and remembering, you know, that's just a thought. That's just a thought, a repetitive thought that started in childhood, and I might remember where it came from or I might not, but that doesn't particularly matter. So it's just a thought. So then we can kind of change that thought and go, actually, I am worthy, I am good, I've come to this art class as an adult not to be the next Monet. I've come to this class to meet people. I've come to this class to just be a little bit creative. I've come to this class to have a little bit of fun, you know. And this isn't easy work, but just a little bit of something to think about if issues around self-worth come up during this Jupiter Chiron square, because Jupiter does expand, make things feel a little bit bigger. It exaggerates things. So while it can exaggerate the fantastic things, it can exaggerate the things that aren't so good for us as well. And finally, one more thing really, I think with Jupiter in Leo, we've talked about supporting and encouraging others. And so this is what I've just talked about, is about supporting and encouraging ourselves as well. And what we can be for ourselves, but for other people, is a guiding light. So think about being a guiding light. How can we be a guiding light? That's a lovely sort of thing to sort of end on, I think. And before I sign off, I've already mentioned, but I'll remind you in case you weren't here at the beginning, go on astrologicalassociation.com. There's loads of stuff on that website. There's some interesting stuff. You can look at the Stellar magazine if you haven't seen it already. That's completely free online magazine. It's a fun magazine, but it's also proper astrology as well. So enjoy Stellar magazine if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it already. You will also want to look at our conference page as well, because by the 30th of June, as I've already mentioned, that's the deadline for some really generous discounts. Whether you want to come to our conference in person in September or whether you want to join us online, you can get discounts up until the 30th of June. So you've got a few more days before that expires. So if you are thinking of coming, then now's the time to really start thinking about booking it so you can get a bit of money off. And the final thing is as well, if you haven't signed our petition, you can find that on the website as well. Again, astrologicalassociation.com. You'll scroll down on the homepage and you'll see a link to the petition. If you don't know what that's about, it's a petition objecting to someone who is trying to copyright the astrocartography, the word astrocartography, so that would mean that people who want to use astrocartography in a public way for teaching or whatever it is would have to pay for the copyright. Anyway, it's all explained much better on our website. So if you want to keep the language of astrology and the techniques of astrology open to everyone, please do read up on that on our website and sign our petition. That's it for now. Enjoy. I'm going to go and cool down a little bit now, see if I can find a shady spot under a tree somewhere. Lots of love to everyone. Bye bye.